The word of the evil one. Millions have seen me. Perhaps you have seen me seated on some mountain top, my gigantic leathery wings folded against the sunset, my chin sunk, brooding on my clenched fist, on the evening of the day of an earthquake? Or perhaps listening intently through the fires of a blistered city, I listen in amazement by the paralyzed pain, which is half the pleasure of great music, while a child wallows in a pool of bones and shrieks, "Father!" in a scream purged by pure terror of all gross humanity. Yes, even in the 20th century, which is the name of civilization, has popularized vulgarity by making it complicated and expensive, one can still enjoy the finer things of life. Please sit down, I see by that look of dawning recognition that you realize who I am. You are quite right. I am the devil, Satan, the fiend, called rightly so, the prince of this world. I do not mean to alarm you, but if I were you, I do not think I would stare too long into my eyes, which in better times have borne the inexpressible light of heaven and read their doom by the layered night of hell. Eyes which in the dawn of creation, have watched with flaming envy as, at the great words fiat lux, let there be light, primal darkness shimmer the first day and earth took form from seething chaos. Eyes that have seen the first sun rise and set again and night return, lit wonder of the first moon. Eyes that for 600,000 years have patiently probed the purulent hearts of evil as a finger pushes through the wall of an ulcer. Yes, I think we can claim with a certain smugness that the last couple of 100 years, hell has really turned the satirical corner. In the underground we have now got together a group of experts in such things, deceased leftist from the International Tailors, Clothiers and Haberdasher Union, I believe. For the last 250 years, all hell has been underground in any narrowly geographic or doctrinal scene. Hell is a conspiracy. Like all good conspiracies, its first requirement is that nobody shall believe in it. Well, we have succeeded so well that for centuries, there has been no hell and there is scarcely a rational man in the world today who, despite the overwhelming evidence to the contrary, believes the devil exists. The greatest description is in history. For few facts, in human experience are better documented than the fact of my evidence. It's indeed indisputable. This is incontrovertible evidence, truth, in the Bible. This evidence can be found in Revelation 12:7-9, and there was war in heaven, Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, called the devil, and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world, he was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Isaiah 14:12 is in a style, which is even better suited to the subject and is just as explicit. Isaiah 14:12, How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? The Ages of Faith has given us ever-sweeping statistics on hell basing its count from Revelation 12:4. 1/3 of the angels deserted with me, Zun, the father of Samael. We were cast out of the Malakut, out into the Orion skies, unlike my son Iblis, who fell in rank, with his 200 fallen. It has been calculated that I command 2,400 legions or 14,400,000 devils. Another calculation by a theologian computed the total number of demons to be exactly 2,665,746,664. I need scarcely tell you that the real strength to our effectiveness is one of the most jealously guarded secrets in hell. Nor can one write off the testimony of hundreds of eyewitnesses who have met me, touched me, and even claimed to have enjoyed my more familiar attention. And it is in the face of this overwhelming evidence that I succeeded in making you believe that I do not exist. But you smile. I must confess that I deliberately arranged my evidence so that you would. Oh, how well I know the rationalist and liberal mind, the modern mind that still does not understand the nature of a commonplace thing like electricity, but does not hesitate to question the existence of heaven and hell. The mind that cannot grasp the mystery of the universe in which it has lived 600,000 years, let alone those greater universes beyond that myopia of man's greatest telescope, but does not hesitate to doubt that its creator and creations are divine. So, you still doubt my evidence, then I will give you evidence that even you cannot refute. If you are seeking my monument, look around you. Behold the world. Behold my handiwork. The sheer walls of the building of Rockefeller Center, abstractly glitter with their geometry of electronically lighted windows, plunged gray and chasmic, bottomless pit, to the city at their base. A proud architecture. We have a view in hell, we rather like it. And certainly it is that in all human history man has never before closed such a haughty edifice above his head to fend off the wind of rain. And yet, if you see as I can behind the great stone face of this city, across the seas and the continents beyond, you would scarcely find one human heart, which is not gripped by a fear and a sense of helplessness unknown to man in any other age. They are like animals stampeding from a forest fire, who have reached their last refuge, the brink of an abyss. On one side is a sheer drop. On the other the ring of flames roaring closer. They do not know how they came into this plight, but I know, it is my work. And their panic is my peace. It seems like yesterday that I launched Hell's 500-year plan. I still remember when inspiration struck me. I still remember the disdainful laughter with which Hell and its reactionaries heard the plan, the most luminous plan that ever lit the darkened minds of a fallen angel. It was during the 18th century, Enlightenment began. I saw that mankind had liquidated. Faith in the human mind had surpassed faith in the Creator. I saw Hell must write progress on its banner and science in its methods. Intellectual pride was always felt secretly a little proud of my fault. Now I perceived all mankind had sinned and them to show its hand. That is why Hell went underground. That is why for 250 years, I have ceased to exist. It was easier than I anticipated. On the whole, I think we can say progress has been steady. At first there was some opposition in Hell. Baal, Beelzebub and a handful of almost aboriginal demons who are still living in the 10th century BC, and have not had an idea since the majority went along with me. Our slogan was the 500-year plan in 300 years. The 300 years are almost up. In less than a generation the idea of the Enlightenment led directly to the French Revolution. France, the cultural focus of Europe, was split down the middle and remained so ever since. A chain reaction was set up over the world, though it was not felt everywhere at once. That instability of all traditional institution, which is part of man's distress, was begun. The industrial and scientific revolution furthered the progress. Meanwhile another first-rate idea occurred to me. Shall I never forget the day when the great thought of evolution popped with all that it entails. Personally, as I glance around this room, I have never felt my chances to be so good. He, Satan, is very much alive. You may run into him, anytime, anyplace. Now, will you believe? Now do you see the devil is waiting? The devil is accepted in all the higher circles of society. He's there when you arrive at Al-Azhar University in Egypt, the great university of Al-Islam. He's the writer of Sharia, Islamic law, and Hadith, tales, so that he can attempt to change the words of El-Elyon, the Most High, by replacing the supreme guidance with man-made laws. Why aren't Muslims united if they all pray in the same direction 5 times a day? Why would Iran and Iraq, who both drop their weapons to pray 5 times a day to the same Creator Allah, God, be at war with each other? They both hold the Noble's Quran in their hands, and overlook its words, which say not to fight each other. What would be their excuse if they read the Noble's Quran 492, where it states, and I quote, "Never shall a believer kill another believer." It's right there in the language. Never should a mu'min, meaning believer, yakshulu, kill another mu'min believer. Yet, there are wars going on right now in Arab countries. They are telling you that they don't believe in the Quran, and ignore what it says. You better look at them again. These are the devil's helpers. Ask yourself what makes you want to kill another human being. What thoughts come across your mind and tells you, sure, take another person's life, they don't deserve to live because they disagree with me and my beliefs. Although America wants to make the world believe that the Arabs are their enemy, they are actually complicit in their devilishment. Since 1940, Saud, the founder of that family, has been with America. Get the history. Don't believe me? Check it out. Saud, 1902 to 1969, was king of Saudi Arabia from 1953 to 1964. Son of King Ibn Saud, founder of the Saudi kingdom. Saud was made crown prince in 1933 AD and succeeded to the throne on his father's death. He continued Ibn Saud's policies of cooperation with Britain and the United States and of opposition to Israel. The United States created the villain Saddam Hussein, although they trained him to fight in order to beat Ayatollah Khomeini of Iran. They also gave Muammar Gaddafi, another supposed American foe, germ warfare to kill Libyans, his own countrymen. However, the Arabs turned on America, as evidenced by the events of 9/11. Arabs now want to rule the world because they feel they will do better than America, that they will be fairer, although they have proven to be racist and murderous. It is all due to the spell of Leviathan. Did you know everything in the Oranos, Orion, heaven and earth serves the Creator, the angelic beings, the 4 beasts, 4 empires, and Samael, Iblis, Diabolus himself bows down to an Elo, God, judge, called Theos, as in Revelation 7:11. It was man, made from the Adama, ground, whom Samael, Iblis, Diabolus refused to bow down to, Quran 38:74-79, not El-Elyon, the Most High. In the holy tablets it speaks of Nakash, called Halil, Samyaza, Lucifer, worshipping Elyon El, the Most High. This Shaitan is still in Oranos, Orion, heaven, only his son Lucifer came down. The devil is the one promising you the chance of a lifetime. He spreads his deception through television, radio, newspapers, magazines, advertisements, music, entertainment, philosophy, government, education, money, etc. He has woven a very intricate web to keep you asleep and divided, and he has many aiders in his mission. The Jinn, or cherubim, cherubim are angelic beings of lesser light. They are disagreeable spirits who were created imperfect, as a reflection of the seraphim, seraphim, angelic beings of the pure green essence. The Jinn are beings having 180 degrees of negativity, and they act in accordance to their nature. The Elohim, gods, judges, have 180 degrees of agreeable or disagreeable on the outside of them. For every agreeable or disagreeable Elohim, gods, judges, there is an agreeable or disagreeable counterpart. They live together and overcome disagreeable from outside. Unlike human beings, the Elohim, gods, judges, agreeable and disagreeable can work together and never have conflict because they both know each other's nature. If 180 degrees of the agreeable conquers the 180 degrees of disagreeable, then they are endowed with 360 degrees of agreeable. Next, they will meet a counterpart that is 360 degrees of disagreeable and will have to conquer that and move further up and become 720 degrees of agreeableness and start their journey to become an Etherian who is pure energy. The Ashuric Syriac, Arabic, word jinn means to hide or to cover. They are called jinn because they are hidden and can't be seen. John is the father of the jinn. The jinn are evil forces that are placed upon the earth. They have the ability to inhabit a person in the form of envy, greed, vanity, jealousy, and other forms of negativity. Each of these attributes are what Kadmon, Zakar, Adam inherited when he listened to Nakash and partook of the fruit of the tree, back in Genesis chapter 3. The jinn is the reason the pale man can think, and although he can think, his thoughts are bound to the materialistic world. He has no scope of the spiritual or the true value of existence. The jinn is the origin of what we call evil, which works on sicknesses, disasters, ruins, and physical death amongst people. Leviathan and John, the father of the jinn, both belong to the same master of evil, the evil reptilian. Subordinate to Leviathan are the jinns, who are represented in many forms. They act as the mental part of the pale man, the physical representation of evil and his helpers, black devils. Azazel scapegoat, the one removed, was the real name of the evil reptilian, who was called Halel when he was an angelic being in the Oranos, Orion, heavens. Al-Khanas means to retreat, to shrink, or to disappear, which is what Shaitan does in order to get into the heart of man by way of whisperings or evil suggestions. When one remembers El Elyon, the Most High, Shaitan retreats, disappears, or goes back.